Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Apex Investor. Today was a very Apex day. Look at the quote up there: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. That's from Warren Buffett, very successful businessman and stock trader. So let's look at the number one stock in volume. It is UBQU, Ubiquitech Software Corp, 1.73 billion volume. Um, Besides that, it was a pretty low volume day. I think because of the what happened in the morning with the sell off right at the opening bell, and then a lot of stocks recovered except for one, which was Workhorse. Uh, let's look at this list here of the top volume. Look for any winners here. Media Technics, 133% for them today. And that's it. Okay, so let's give it a pause. Okay, so just in case you didn't know, I have two channels now. A YouTube channel dedicated to stock trading called Apex Investor. So for the next until March 31st, I'm going to keep mentioning this. And then after that, I'm only going to upload my stock related videos onto the Apex Investor channel exclusively. But for the time being, I'm going to upload to both my Bible channel and the Apex Investor, just so the word can spread, and people who want to get only the stock market videos can migrate over to Apex Investor and get their content to be focused 100% on the stock market and investing. But we cover mostly the stock market pretty much 90%, maybe 99% of the time. So let's look at JE, which is Just Energy. I just looked through the scanner. There were no new lows today, but we'll just look at JE, which was the only stock that had reached a new low. Yesterday, they reached a new low of $3.94, and they were actually at even $3.85. Today, they dropped even lower to $3.41. That was on the open of the market around what time was that? I think it was 9:30 around that time. Yeah, 9:30, 9:50, even to 10 o'clock. Most of the stocks, the whole stock market, pretty much took a dip. Not a crash, but a dip. Like a big speed bump. It really isn't. I'd say it's an Apex Investor Day. It's really interesting because I just started this channel. excuse me, a few days ago, maybe a couple days ago, and it's really ironic how we have an event like this taking place in such close proximity to when my channel started. So it really puts this channel to the test. Am I really going to be an Apex investor or not? Am I going to prove myself to not only myself but the viewers that I have what it takes? So let's take a look at JE. And this was a stock again that I looked at yesterday because it set a new low. So I was thinking maybe I'll buy a bunch of these, buy some shares of JE at 385. That was my price. It dropped down to 341 and then eventually went up to as high as 388. So that was a good 40 cents profit that could have been made. But then again, that wasn't high enough for me. That wasn't, I didn't want to make just 40 cents today. So I ended up not buying that stock. What I did end up doing was buying, averaging down with my number one pick, which is CCIV. So I bought a bunch of shares at around $30, uh, around 30 something. I can't remember. It was 30, 31. So I averaged down and you can see it went right back up to about $44. And you could see that with the positive news of the merger that actually was confirmed. So the deal went through. A lot of people were skeptical saying that, these SPACs sometimes they don't come to fruition and a lot of people just lose all their money. So that's a possibility. And that's true that it could have happened. But then again, there were so many reports confirming that this was going to happen. And you have the institutional investors as well, also backing this company. They wouldn't do that if they didn't know it was a sure deal. They wouldn't gamble their money like that. So the deal went through, and this is going to be triple digits, probably by most likely by next year, or even by the time they release their first car, and and Lucid Motors goes public, and it won't be known as CCIV anymore. It'll be known as Lucid Motors on the stock exchange, whatever their stock symbol will be. That'll be interesting just to use that symbol there. And I ended up buying Torchlight as well, which is a play that I saw on over on Trey's Trades channel, and he really informed me about this and his viewers. So I decided let's pick up some shares at $2, and I think I got it at $2.03. It ended up going up to as much as $3.12. So that's a good dollar. That went up the most, I think, of most of the stocks that dipped. This really recovered big time, even bigger than CCIV did. Um, and also the big story of the day was everything was going down, it seemed, except for this one stock, AMC, which saw an increase of, I think, over close to 15% today. And most of my holdings are in AMC. So I was up today. I'm probably one of the few that was actually up because the majority of my portfolio is AMC. Um, so I think that's all I'll talk about there. Oh, I bought Sorrento as well. Uh, Not my favorite stock, but there is a lot in the works for them. So, I mean, projections are saying this will go to uh, around $40, maybe even $100, but we'll see. We'll see how things turn out for them. But I picked up some shares at $10, and it was just around $10 and something. So that was a pretty good price as well. Um, we'll look. We'll let, let's look next at the winners, the losers for today. Okay, so most stocks actually dropped in the opening bell from 9:30 to 10, around 10:30, and then they started to recover. Workhorse is no exception. They dropped down to $24. I'm sorry, that's not 24. That's what number is that? That is 24. Okay, so they dropped from around from 28.61 all the way to 24.49, and it was going pretty steady, and nobody was really, I'm sure they felt secure and saying, okay, that just glad that's over with. And then all of a sudden, right at 3 o'clock, I got this alert on my phone saying my price target was met of $21, and then my price target was met of 17. I'm going, what in the world is happening with Workhorse? Are they going out of business? Or are they going bankrupt? What's going on? So I looked at the news, and the deal that they were supposed to have, I think with Amazon of all companies, didn't go through. It's either Amazon or USPS. So I'm seeing here USPS looks like they went with another company, and that's why their stock really took a big crash and went all the way down to 12.50. And so I put a buy order for 12.50 for tomorrow. I don't see that recovering. I think that's going to crash a little bit more, but I think it, as is often the case, it's usually an overreaction to bad news. So just looking at the last, let's just look at the last 6 months for this stock. This is easily worth at least $20. $20 just on no news, and it peaked at what was that, 42.96. So to get this stock at around $10-12 is pretty good price. Although I would prefer to get it less than $10, but that's an Apex investor trade, is to get it at a really really low price, preferably the 52-week low. That's what we're really aiming for here at Apex Investor. We're not trying to just get stocks at a little dip. Like, this isn't what happened earlier. Even today wasn't really an Apex day. It was something of an Apex day, but a real Apex day is like a stock market crash. Like what happened in March of 2020, that is an Apex day. That's where I'd buy up all the stocks, like all the big ones that I wanted to buy for so long. Just hold on to them for at least a year, 2 years, and just sleep on it. Don't even pay attention, and just set my price targets. If my phone goes off, then I know something happened. but otherwise I won't even pay attention to it. That's the best way to trade. The best way to do my videos is not during the market hours, but after hours. It's so calm. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to keep looking at my phone or someone looking at their watch and saying, this is how much it's going up or down by. And that's just not the way to trade. To trade under pressure, to trade with your emotions. No, you trade using logic. You trade with a lot of patience, a lot of confidence. And I'm learning from Warren Buffett there, Mr. Buffett, about just how much confidence we must have, not only in our companies, but even in ourselves. The power of no is very underestimated. It's very underrated. So when Workhorse, for example, when that dropped, and I was thinking, I wanted at 1250, and then it started rising again towards the end of the towards the close. Uh, Let me see if I can look at that a little bit closer. So it did dip to again 1250, and I was thinking, should I get it at 1250 or not 1250? $14, 13, 14, and I said to myself, no, no, it'll go down again. It just showed me the bottom is 1250 and under. It'll go down under this because people are very emotional. They're going to sell it off because they don't want to lose all their monies or money. I don't know. I prefer saying money. Some people say monies. But the point is that I can say no, and I'll set my price point, my buy order, 1250. If it gets met, all right, I'm happy. If it doesn't get met, I'm not sad either. So there's always going to be an opportunity out there. And the ironic thing about the stock market, if anyone ever plays, if you've ever played Tetris, the game Tetris, it's a lot like Tetris in some ways because the decisions you make under pressure will really define you. Um, will you wait for the long bar, or are you just going to pick up, use whatever the T, the T piece and just try to fit that in, but then you mess yourself up. So I mean, it really takes patience. It takes a lot of strategizing. So you pick your stocks and you make sure that these are good stocks. They're solid companies, and I really recommend people watch the videos and the channel. Subscribe to the channel of Quick Fingers Luke. That's Quick Fingers space Luke LUC. And the reason why I am promoting him, not because I know him personally or anything like that. I'm just promoting him because a lot of the knowledge I know about in terms of technical analysis came from him. And he's a very unconventional kind of analyst because he doesn't really look at the Fibonacci. He doesn't look at all these, the the double bottom and all these different formulas that people use to kind of predict if a stock's going up or down, if that's a good time to buy or not. He just bases it off bases. You just find your base. So in terms of this chart, just looking at it on the 1 year, this is. Oh, let me get my. See if I can draw it here. The little marker. So this is what he would do. Basically, um, is there a free flow? Is there a free flow kind? Okay, I'll do a horizontal line. See if that would work. Horizontal line. Okay. All right, it's giving me a little problem. Stay in drawing mode. Okay, so I'm going to try to draw a line. No, it didn't work. Okay. I've never done this before, so please bear with me as I try to figure this out. I don't know why that's not working. See, ray parallel, Fibonacci. Yeah, I don't do these things. Maybe not magnet mode. Well, I want to just use horizontal line. Maybe extended would do it. Okay, well, that's not working out. Oh, there it is. How do I cancel that? Okay, essentially, oh boy. All right. Reset the chart. Okay. Um, okay, these lines did not disappear. Let's make them yellow so they're a bit easier to see. So if we look at the 6 month, actually I prefer the 1 year, but let's look at the 6 month just so we can visualize it a bit better. You can see that the support really is at this level. It's not moving for some reason. There it is, right there. So right about at that level, which is what's that? 15, around $15 is support. Today it broke support. So if you're getting this stock Workhorse under $15, that's a great price because it is most likely going to go back to these levels and hit this resistance, which is looking like, well, based on the last one that we saw here, it's looking like it's around $40, but that's with a lot of hype too. So I mean, if you want to be safe, you could sell it at 30 to 40 is a good price to sell, but you're buying it at 15. So you're going to double your money just on Workhorse alone. Okay. So that's all for Workhorse. Okay. So here's my actual portfolio under Apex Investor. These are all the trades I did today. Except for Just Energy, that was an imaginary trade. So you just need to subtract 228.50 from this total, and you'll get how much my portfolio is right around, what is that? For 260. Oh wait, that's not it. 250. So about $250 is how much my portfolio is worth right now in total. So take a snapshot of this because it's not going to stay there for long. It's only the start. Is the little snowball I'm taking. I'm going to roll it down the hill, and you can see my gain today was from Sorrento was what is this? 6%, Torchlight 45%, CCIV 6%. So again, Torchlight saw the biggest recovery from all the sell-offs this morning. And then, like I said, Just Energy only recovered, or not recovered, but it did go up about 2% from the previous day where it had a all-time low. Okay, so that's all for that. I'm going to show you now the meme stocks, and let's just look at just the meme stocks and see who are the losers, who are the winners. A lot of losers today, but who are the biggest losers? We're looking for over 20% loss, 20% change in either direction. Yeah, CCIV again minus 38. Oh no, that's not right. That's from you. That's from the previous day. Okay. So yeah, this is my portfolio, including the meme stocks and pretty much everything. But I've separated Apex Investor just so I could see if the strategy is effective. Okay, so here we go. So CCIV at $35, is that correct? How is that possible? So I guess it went down to 30 and then went up to 35. So 38% loss today, even after that merger was announced. So a lot of people sold the news, in particular those short sellers, meaning they don't really believe in the stock. But that's their loss because once this goes to triple digits, they're going to wish they didn't do that. So that's their loss. This is the next, not the next Tesla, but is the rival to Tesla, and you're going to see that take off big time, especially next year. By this point next year, what is it, February 2022? You're going to see the stock not be CCIV anymore. It'll be known as Lucid Motors, but Lucid Motors will be known as a juggernaut in the stock market. So just watch out for that. Who's next? Who's the next winner or loser? SOS was down 21%, 22%. Mara also 23%. So these are all, I wouldn't say good buys, but at least somewhat of a good deal. But I wouldn't buy them myself. That's not big enough. It's not a big enough drop for me on the daily. HCMC's down 21%. AMC, wow, it was actually up 17.56%, and I went up quite a bit too. So you'll notice the prices I bought them at. They are not Apex prices. They were the prices of somebody who was not as educated, not as emotionally stable, not as mentally strong, and I'm not the same person anymore. So I just have to learn from this and just go forward and not do any FOMO anymore. Because FOMO happens when you are trading during the day and you don't set your price targets and you ignore them and you ignore everything you learned in the past. So that's what happens. And what Warren Buffett said is true, that you can build a good reputation over many decades, 20 years, 50 years even. All right, sorry for that interruption. So you can build a good reputation. It could take you decades. It could take you 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, but you can ruin that all in 5 minutes just from a stupid decision or a stupid quote or tweeting something or sharing something. So it's very important that not only are we smart in here, but we're also smart in our mouths, in our hearts, and we conduct ourselves to a high moral standard, meaning we don't let the money get to our head and we start treating people with less respect and we think we're better than other people. I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the last maybe 5, 10 years now is that, yeah, it's nice to have money. It's nice to have a big bank account, but what good is that if your heart is corrupt and, you know, you think you're better than everyone else, but that money can easily be taken away. As we saw this morning, a lot of people did lose some money, significant amounts of money. So it can all just be taken in a blink of an eye the following day, or if the market actually crashes, kind of like it did last year in March 18th, I think, around there. So it's important we take the lessons that we've learned, but we also conduct ourselves in a way that is humble and understanding that it's really the people we end up being at the end of our lives, and not all the money we accumulate. Money is great. Money is a way to show our power, to show how we can influence people, how we can help people, how we can help ourselves, how we can address issues in our community. It's a means to an end. Money isn't the be all end all, but it is given to us as a power, a resource to provide for ourselves, our families, and in our communities, and helping our fellow neighbor out if they need some help. We can lend them money and not have to charge them interest. To be honest, I think that's not a good thing to do that. So that's all I have to say about that rant. So I'm going to pause now and go to Reddit. Check out the message boards there. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to browse the forums and talk about Quick Fingers Luke for a bit. So as you may or may not know, Quick Fingers Luke has done a very revolutionary method, has come up with a revolutionary method for analyzing charts in stocks and crypto. And that's just very simplistic and looking at bases, looking at the last most recent base. So I take that and I kind of crank it up to the extreme and say, you know what, you have to look at historical bases. I know he's saying look at the most recent base, but there's a flaw in that because as we saw today with Workhorse, you couldn't depend on the $21 base. That wasn't really the support. It was the historical base, which was actually around 17, actually $15. And then even before that, there's a more extreme base of maybe $10 or less. So that's what I go with. I go with the historical base over the last 52 weeks. And that's an apex investor kind of strategy. Okay, I just want to thank everybody for their support, all the views, all the likes, subscribes. Um, Please subscribe to my new channel, Apex Investor, so that I know that there are people out there that are getting some help from me or, taking some advice in terms of my picks, in terms of entry points and things like that. And just the content that I'm putting out here. And I'm trying to, my goal is to do at least a video a day. Usually don't do videos um, Friday evening but I usually will try, if not Saturday evening, then on Sunday. But Friday is a pretty busy day. Okay, let me look at these posts and open some tabs. Okay, here's a post from WS Bets saying that real losses for short hedgies. It comes from Diamond Hands. And then the comment here says, I will never believe hedge funds learned a lesson. They crashed the housing market. They got bailed out and doubled down with the money. Never trust a drug addict. And so the reason I highlight this is because these hedge funds, these short sellers are very vicious. So in order to counter their maliciousness, their greediness, and all their tricks, one has to employ very extreme methods. And that's why Apex Investor comes in with looking at new lows, looking at not just buying on dips, you're buying on 52-week dips, like extreme market crash dips. And that's where you're picking up your shares. So I don't short stocks. I don't promote that. I think that's one of the worst things you could do. Um, to short a company and make them go bankrupt is horrible. That's not American. That's not democratic. That's not. It's just not good. Does anyone have the correct short sell percentage for GameStop today? Ameritrade is being difficult. It had been holding in the 40s. We won't know the official outdated numbers until FINRA drops them tomorrow. It's probably over 200%. Yeah, it's most likely over 200%. So whatever the numbers are, just looking at the estimations that people are coming up with through their own research, it is over 200%. That's what it's looking like. I'm balls deep in Gush calls. If Gush hits 110, okay. I'm not sure what Gush is, so I might have to look that up, see what that is, see if it's worth my time. Okay, I looked at Gush's chart. That's a buy at $20 or less. Right now it's at 70 something, so that's way past my buying range. GameStop and AMC both had great days today and were strong in aftermarket trading. GameStop reports earnings on Wednesday. A lot of options expire on Friday. It's an interesting week shaping up, to say the least. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's going to, we're going to see a very interesting week already. We already are. AMC is turning the tide. Remember yesterday I was saying that this looks like the turning of a tide for AMC and GameStop. And yeah, that's it's happening. Although AMC is for the first time in a long time, it's actually not following the GameStop chart. It's diverging. It's doing something else because of the news, the positive news catalyst, where they're opening, I think 25% of theaters in New York City, if I'm not mistaken, and that's probably going to spread throughout the rest of the states. Monster buy for me this morning, Ultra VIX. Okay, well I looked at that. I did look at Ultra VIX, and I'm not sure if it stayed up or not, but UVXY is the one that I was looking at, and yeah, they did go up initially to about $10, but then they went back down to 8.79. So it would have been a good idea to just sell it off right at the start of the market, and then we'll not touch it again after that, because that UVXY is a very very volatile, very unpredictable holding, and it's best not to hold that at all, in my opinion. Unless you're predicting, some things are going to crash, then yeah, maybe buy that. But that's a very, very uh, unpredictable. It's very unpredictable. So I wouldn't even touch that unless you want to lose money. There's solid intel here. Top hedgers with major holdings of GameStop. That's from yesterday, I think. Yeah, I think we went over that. Let me just move that down so I can close these tabs. Okay. AMC just needed a map to go to the moon. I believe a lot of Americans don't own maps. Okay. Yeah, I mean, AMC is going up. We don't need rules if this trade goes through. The moon is my target. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my picks for tomorrow. The markets are screwed because they manipulated the entire thing. So the hedge funds can short everything to get their money back on GameStop. The entire market is going to tank harder than 2008 just so they can pull even on GameStop. Either way, we are screwed. So you better hold your GameStop, AMC stocks until you're dead. Give them to your youngest child. Yeah, the funny thing is with the dip today or whatever happened today with the little maybe like a tremor at the opening bell up to 10:30 or so, a lot of the stocks went down. AMC and GameStop were the only ones that really didn't go down that much. They were not as affected as everything else because they've been so manipulated for the last month or so that they really couldn't go anywhere else but up or just, I mean, they've been kind of abused for so long that there's nothing else to beat. They've been beating them up and they've been beating like not a dead horse, but a person that's been wounded, a stock that's been wounded. So I mean, where else could it go? And then AMC with the positive news catalyst started going up. A worldwide power outage can never happen. Crypto's safe forever. Green energy is going to be amazing for crypto. The linchpin on crypto, power consumption could never be in jeopardy. A tyrannical government would never disconnect your home power or your mining rig or your ability to trade in the pleb platform. Crypto is a rock, a digital rock, no glitches, okay? I have a gasification stove running a straight six, okay. Well, I guess this is a big sarcastic post because, as we can see in parts of the United States, um, if he had crypto in Texas, he would not be in a good position. That's why he collects silver. And yeah, you know what? That's what I've been saying. Crypto isn't 100% safe. It is uh, vulnerable to a possible power outage, a nationwide outage. And so you have to have an offline hardware device like a Trezor or something where you can load your Bitcoin onto there in case of a power outage or a prolonged power outage so you can keep your Bitcoin and no one else can take them. They're not online or anything like that. So these are my plays for tomorrow. Workhorse is one of them. My buy price again is at 12.50 or less. I'm not buying it any more than that. Um, I know my price. I know my price point. I'm not budging. So although $15, it is a good deal. I want to take the least amount of risk as possible when I'm making my trades from this point forward till death, pretty much. And the next uh, pick for tomorrow is SNES, and not Super Nintendo. No, this is a company that does chemicals called Senes Tech. So they're an American company, and they were between $1.32 to 4.24, um, and they closed today at 2.02. They were as high as where's the daily range today? Doesn't say here, does it? Anyhow, if you can look at the institutional ownership, 26%. That's pretty good. Insider ownership, not too much. Shorts floating, 3.81 million. And the short ratio is pretty low there, but um, might have to look at the daily. But looking at the annual chart, let me put it into Webull. So as you can read in the bottom, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. And what would Warren Buffett do? You have to remember those things. Uh, what would he do? He wouldn't buy high. He wouldn't buy a company that he doesn't believe in and wouldn't hold for 10 years. And if you really are doubtful on a stock, just say no. Don't risk your money. Don't risk losing. Um, so SNES, I still have the MC chart up there. I'll look at that later. But SNES, actually, I'm going to close that. It's a little distracting. So looking at the 1 year chart, let's look at the maximum chart. See, this company has been in business. Looks like at least from 2016. So they're about maybe 5 years old, and you can see they are worth a lot. Maybe there were splits going on. I'm not sure. It's usually the case with historical charts like this, and then you see the 5 year. Then the 1 year is what we're looking for. We can see where the real support is, and it's touching that line quite uh, often there, and it dipped even lower at a new low of $1.39. So their 52-week low was $1.32. Their 52-week high was 424. So you can see there is definite resistance at $3 level. So this is a pretty good pick to acquire at the dollar. I'd say $1.50, maybe $1.40, $1.40, $1.50 range is a great buy for this stock, and it does have a significant amount of volume, about 3 million today, but an average volume of close to a million. Um, so this is a pretty good pick to really multiply your money. Uh, $1.40 to $1.50 is a great buy if that once it drops, set your alert and then or your buy orders, and then put a sell order for $3. That's an apex trade right there, and you would pretty much double your money. So that's definitely an apex trade. SNES. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for your time. Please like, please subscribe to my channel, Apex Investor. If you're not migrated over there already, please click the link in the description. And good luck to all. And apes unite. Apex. It's funny how that worked out. But apes strong together. We can do this, people. Just hold on to your shares, especially the AMC GameStop shares. They're actually worth thousands, possibly 10,000s, and they can only go that to that height if we force them to pay what they're worth. So we don't budge. We just say no. We just say no, just like Caesar. No, right? His first word was no. So we have to remember that and be like Caesar. Just say no. I'm not selling. Do I have a sell order for GameStop? I honestly don't. I didn't. I took it off because any price I would put, they would reject it. So if you don't want me to sell it, okay, well, I'll sell it at 10,000 then, because I know how much it's worth. It's worth at least 1,000 at this point. And the squeeze has not happened. The squeeze has not closed. AMC squeeze didn't even start yet. I mean, $20 was nothing. It's easily going to go to 50, maybe $100. GameStop, we could see that it was going to go to 500, 600, 700. In that same week would have hit 1,000. But again, they rigged the system. So if they can rig it again, and I hope they don't, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that because they already have hearings going on. So I don't know if they want to do more hearings and possibly people getting locked up, going to prison over this, or just simply losing their business is going bankrupt, particularly the hedge funds. So thank you again for your time, and we'll see you tomorrow. This is Apex Investor signing out.